Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're looking at something you probably don't think about until there's a problem, your roof. Specifically, we're diving into the heavy-duty, high-stakes structural engineering it actually takes to survive the totally relentless elements out in southwest Oklahoma.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the extreme weather challenges, then look at exactly how roofs fail. After that, we'll get into how they're engineered for the elements, walk through the replacement process, and finally, wrap up with protecting your investment.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Extreme Weather Challenges, or as I like to call it, the antagonist above. These stakes here are frankly incredibly high. I mean, we're talking about 100-plus degree heat, followed up by literally baseball-sized hail. In the spring and early summer, violent thunderstorms drop massive hail that basically acts like meteorites striking your home. It cracks the shingles and completely compromises the waterproofing. And then right after that, summer rolls in with this relentless baking heat well over 100 degrees that just continuously punishes those materials, making them brittle and super weak.
And then, there's the wind. Gusts out in this region can reach up to 130 miles per hour. That is an unbelievable amount of force. Properties west of I-44, out toward Geronimo and near Fort Sill, they face these direct, punishing southwest winds. And there are very few natural windbreaks to slow those gusts down. So this creates a massive amount of uplift stress. The wind is literally trying to peel the edges of the roof right off your house.
Moving on to Section 2, How Roofs Fail, the Mechanics of Destruction. So the silent destroyer of roofs down in Lawton is something called thermal cycling. Just imagine baking in 100-degree heat all day long, expanding, and then rapidly cooling and contracting at night. This daily stretching and shrinking, it weakens the adhesive seals and causes the shingles to curl, crack, and eventually shed their protective layer. And to make matters worse, the region's red clay soil also expands and shrinks with the wet and dry cycles, which causes your entire house to settle unevenly. This movement can actually crack chimneys and rip metal flashing right away from roof penetrations. Boom, immediate leak pathways.
The absolutely crucial point here is catching the early warning signs before major water damage happens. Finding those sand-like granules collecting your gutters, that's a huge red flag that your shingles are actively deteriorating. You might also spot blistering or curling shingles, maybe sagging roof decks, which points to structural rot, or, and this is a bad one, daylight actually peeking through your attic. Oh, and keep in mind, if you live in the older neighborhoods in East Lawton, say near Cameron University, mature tree debris can sit up on your roof, trapping moisture and rapidly accelerating these exact issues.
Okay, Section 3, Engineered for the Elements, Building the Armor. There is a vital difference between just a standard roof and one genuinely built to survive high wind zones. A standard insulation usually uses just 4 nails per shingle. But the local building codes for Lawton's intense wind zones require an enhanced fastening schedule of 6 nails per shingle, and they have to be placed in very specific patterns. Skipping this might save a roofing contractor a little time, but it totally voids manufacturer warranties and leaves your roof wide open to those 130-mile-per-hour gusts we talked about earlier. 50% more nails means significantly more holding power. It's a no-brainer.
But material selection is just as critical as that fastening schedule. In an area so prone to severe storms, Class 4 impact-resistant shingles are a must-have to actively deflect that heavy hail. But the armor isn't just about the outside, it's about the inside too. Proper attic ventilation is absolutely key to stop heat from building up and baking the shingles from underneath. Throw in some self-sealing ice and water shields in those vulnerable roof valleys to prevent winter freeze damage, and you've got yourself a heavily armored, complete system.
Now, when facing this kind of harsh weather, the lifespan of your materials is going to vary wildly. Asphalt shingles generally offer a lower upfront cost, and they typically survive about 15 to 25 years. But metal roofing? That pushes it to 40 to 70 years of superior durability. Metal actively resists hail, leaving you with maybe minor dents instead of deep, leaky punctures. And it actually reflects solar heat, which is going to lower your cooling bills. And then tile roofing can last over 50 years. It's really a fascinating comparison when you look at your initial upfront cost versus that long-term resilience.
Let's look at Section 4, the replacement process, restoring the shield.
When it's done correctly, the replacement process is actually highly efficient. Moving right from the initial inspection to the estimate to material selection and installation, and finally the cleanup, a typical residential roof replacement in Lawton really only takes 1 to 3 days. Professional crews strip the old material right down to the decking, fix any damaged structural wood, apply specialized underlayment, and lay down the new shingles. They work incredibly fast to get the home protected before the next big weather system rolls in.
And here's a detail that gives homeowners some major peace of mind: complete property protection. High-quality professional crews will use heavy-duty boards and tarps to protect your delicate landscaping from literally thousands of pounds of falling debris. And once the job is completely done, they run highly sensitive magnetic nail sweeps across your entire yard and driveway. This ensures absolutely no hidden nails are left behind to, ruin your car tires or injure your family.
Finally, Section 5, protecting your investment, financial defenses. Because let's be real, the single biggest financial question on every homeowner's mind immediately after a sudden, violent storm is always, will my insurance cover this? It's an incredibly stressful moment, but deeply understanding the system is your absolute best defense here.
So, to navigate the insurance process effectively, you really need to document any wind or hail damage with photos immediately after the storm passes and file your claims promptly to avoid any processing delays. You're also going to want to check your insurance policy to see if you have actual cash value, which actually factors in depreciation for older roofs, or if you have full replacement coverage. That's a huge difference. Finally, never ever skip the legal paperwork. City of Lawton building permits are legally required for roof replacements. Skipping these permits just to save a few bucks risks massive fines, and it creates super costly headaches when you eventually try to sell your home. Just not worth it. All right, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one quick question. When was the last time you checked your gutters for granules? Think about it. It's a completely simple, free action, but it's literally the very first line of defense for maintaining your home's ultimate shield. Next time it's safe to do so, get out there and take a look. You might just catch a serious problem before the next big Oklahoma storm rolls in. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep learning.